Okay, hi, we're back with another tutorial. This tutorial is about how to edit songs. So if you want to maybe have one part longer or maybe take a part out, this is how you would go about doing that. So this will work for any Ableton session, but mainly it's aimed towards the sessions that I'm building for people. So as you can see, this is how your tracks will look. You'll have all your songs over here, and you have your which stems are here, and you have your count in, your click, and drums, etc., etc. What we want to do is we want to take this whole section of this Robin Thicke song, Blurred Lines. So take all this.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And we want to take it over to this section, which basically you switch between here. So watch my mouse. We switch between. This is you have clip view and then session view. So we want to take it out of clip view and take it to session view. Now I can sit there and click these two back and forth, or you can just hit the tab key. And so if I hit over here, hit the tab key will switch between screens. So that's what we're going to use as tab key. So now when we do drag these over, we want to make sure that the tracks all line up in the same tracks on the other screen. So we want to make sure that the count in is on the count in track, and the click is on the click track, and the drum is on the drum track. So the easiest way to do that is to switch over to this screen. If you're down here like this, scroll all the way up to see count in, and then if you right click on this, you can actually change your grid mode here to 8 notes, off, quarter notes. So I'll just leave it at quarter notes right now. And then now I'm going to go back over to hit the tab key and go back over to the screen. I'm going to click on count in, and then I'm going to hold the shift button down and go all the way over to my last track, which is lead vocals. That way all those are selected. Now I'm going to go back over here to count in, and I'm going to hold my mouse right click down, just keep holding it down, and hit the tab key, and that'll switch screens. And now that we switch screens, you can see I'm on the wrong tracks here. I want to make sure that top track that I had my mouse on is on count in, and now you can see it gave me that little don't put here thing. It makes that fine. So I'm going to put that on count in. I'm going to line it up to the grid and then let go of it. Now you can see this is all kind of muted out because it's still playing this section. One thing you want to do though is before you start editing over there, you want to click play on this key. This will change the tempo to the right tempo. So you can see the tempo up here is 120 now. Now you can hit stop. Then go back to tab, go back to the other screen. This is all kind of blurred out. You want to click this little button right here, and that'll activate this screen. So now we're activating the screen. Then if you go up here to the top, you can see a little a little microscopy glass come up there. If you hold the mouse key down and pull down, it'll make that longer, or push up, it'll make it smaller. So we're going to pull down and make sure that it's on the one. So we want to highlight if all these tracks. So basically what you want to do is click on the top one, scroll down, hit shift, click on the next one so they're all highlighted, and then move them all up to where it's on the one. So now this track, unlike some of the other tracks, some of the tracks that we have, they don't line up perfectly on the grid because the tempo is kind of in and out, with a live band. So sometimes they don't line up on the grid perfectly. So I'm going to give you two methods. This method is if it's lined up on the grid, which this song is all lined up on the grid. You can see all the click track lines right up on the grid. So what you do, if it is on the grid, you just leave it on quarter notes, and you can start playing it.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And how you move this back and forth is up here on this little ruler. Just click on it, move it back and forth. You pull your mouse down, it makes it bigger. Up, it makes it smaller. So we're going to kind of move down. So what we're going to do is we're going to let's just take a piece of this song. So say right here. Actually.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So I take the beginning of that chorus. Hear this stuff. We're going to to double the chorus here.
Breakdown 2, 3, 4. Verse. Tag 3, 4.
We're going to have the chorus come in there again. So we're going to start right at the beginning of this chorus. We're going to go all the way over here. We're going to highlight to there where it would come back on a chorus again. And then we're going to take our mouse and move it all the way down the screen so we get all the tracks. And then basically what one of the ways you could do it is I would just hit Command X if you're on a Mac, or you can go up here to File and Cut, and then go to File and Paste it back in there. Now we have that separated. Then go over here, click on the top track, go all the way to the bottom track, and move this down a little bit. Go ahead and take this and move this down the grid. Keep them on the same track, and then move it down just out of the way. And then come back over here. Make sure I got all those. Okay. Come back over here. We're going to take that one we got edited, and this is on the grid. So all you have to do really is highlight them all and hit Command D, which is duplicate, or you can copy and paste. But I'm just going to hit Command D, which basically just duplicated that. So now if I look, here's the
chorus 2, 3, 4.
Now if I go to the end of that,
3, 4. Verse. Tag 3, 4.
now I just loop that section again. So that's how you edit. And then what I do is I'd bring this back and bring that back to the grid. And just set it there, bring this down. There, now it's all in. Okay, so now you have a bunch of edits. So you have an edit here, edit here, edit here, and edit here. Before you drag it back over into the other view, you need to consolidate all these. So basically what you're going to do is you click here. That way it heals all these edits. So that way you can have it in clip mode. So I'm going to click there. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to click at the very end and then hold Shift and click down at the end over here. So that way it highlights everything. And then you're going to right click, or you can go to Edit and go to Consolidate. And we're going to consolidate that. Now it's going to make all these tracks, these 4 cuts. It's going to make them one. And wait till that's done consolidating. We're waiting. Takes a little bit of time. I'm not going to edit this video, so you got to sit through the whole painful process. It's coming. And there you go. Now it's all back to normal. Now we're going to just put this back on the other side. So what you do is you just make sure all these are highlighted, and if they're not, just click the top one, go down to the bottom one, highlight, hit Shift, and click on that. And now all these tracks are together. And then all you're going to do is hold that. You're going to hit the Tab key. We're going to go back over it. When you drop this back down, you want to make sure you're back on the right song, and drop this into the count in section, and right there. And now just drop that whole new thing in the counting section, click save, and you're good. That's how you edit. I'm going to do undo because I don't want to do that. So come back over here, undo, and undo, 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 undo. So now if you get a song it doesn't line up on the grid, this is what you got to do. Basically, is the easiest way to do it is to just copy your click track. So you just click on your click track, hit Control D or Command D, and duplicate that. Okay, and then you're going to delete this one later. So let's mark this as let's rename this as click remove. It's good enough. That way I know to remove it later, or I can right click and color it something else. Right now we're just using that as a highlighter. And take this track and move it up here. Alright, so now if you don't have if it's something, the click's not completely on the grid, then we gotta do is highlight all these. I'm sorry, we don't go to it. You gotta switch this. You go right click or what is it? Control click, and you're gonna go over here and turn the grid off. Now the grid's off. So now we're gonna go down here, and we're not gonna pay attention to the grid lines. We're gonna pay attention to this top click track up here. So if I wanted to say duplicate this section, I would just highlight all that and do exactly what I did before. Just hit X, then V, paste it back in there. Yeah, and do it. Yeah. Look at all these. Actually, just highlight all this whole section. Go there now. What I do is I just highlight that much, grab this. All I have to do is click on it and move it down to where you want that, and make sure that that click lines up with the top click. So there. Oops, it's a little bit off. So we can pull this down and really get to know it, and move that click right in there. So now that click's lined up, and then take the section you want to copy or duplicate or whatever, and just hit Option. It'll copy that, and then just go up and line that click right up to that click, and now it'll sound like. So that's if it doesn't line up to the grid, and you can't just use the grid to do it with. Do it that way. Anyhow, I hope that helps out, and that'll be more tutorials later.